Hi, my name is Thais Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you about 15 key signs of abuse. So we're going to do a series, and it's going to be a little bit about how to recognize key signs of abuse, because abuse can actually be very difficult to recognize at times, especially because abusive patterns in relationships tend to be sort of insidious. They tend to not happen all at once and be something that takes place in an outright way. It tends to be something that sort of creeps into a relationship dynamic over time. So we'll do a series. We're going to start by talking about key signs to recognize. We'll go through 15 here together. And then we'll talk a little bit about how to reprogram these things. A really great course, if you want to dive into it, that helps rewire. If you had an abusive dynamic in your past, perhaps in childhood or in a past relationship, is the Emotional Mastery and Belief Reprogramming course. It will really help you to change the belief imprints that were imprinted upon your subconscious mind as a byproduct of really chaotic or challenging situations and relationships, as well as help you identify what your unmet needs were and how to be able to really harvest those needs in the relationship to yourself. And you can check that out for free for 7 days by clicking the link in the description box below. Now, before we dive into this video, I think it's really important to recognize that abuse is not something that just occurs with one person. It's not just in a romantic relationship or dynamic. And often, again, abuse can be very hard to recognize. It's sneaky. It doesn't take place all at once. Abuse can exist within a family relationship. It can exist within a group relationship, a set of peers or friends. It can exist within an institution or even an entity, a workplace, a larger scale system that exists, that we have a relationship to as people. And so it's really important that we recognize that and sort of keep an eye out. Now, if anybody is watching this video and is in an abusive relationship, it is very important to leave immediately, especially because abuse does tend to escalate. And it's also important to seek out help and resources wherever you possibly can. And we'll put a couple extra resources in the link in the description box below. Now, some of the symptoms, if you find yourself experiencing abuse or you're not sure, are things like depression, anxiety, confusion, feelings of self-betrayal, and like you don't know how to decide what your decisions are and if you can really trust yourself, heightened amounts of stress, emotional volatility, and things like unexplained sadness and feeling really burnt out and overwhelmed by small things, usually because you're not consciously aware that at a subconscious level, many big things are really affecting you. And so it's really important to be able to see some of these things and make sure that we bring them to the conscious forefront of our mind. So the very first major sign, and again, these are going to be in the more severe cases, and you can take from here whatever number of signs you have. Usually if you're seeing a few of these key signs, they're massive red flags, let alone all 15 of them. So sign number one is, and by the way, this is not mine. This is from the Workplace Mental Health Institute. This is like the best 15 signs I found, period, and literally hit everything on the head in terms of what we're seeing in very intensive abusive relationships. So number one is the person will not let you go out without permission. Okay. And obviously that tends to be a very controlling dynamic. Number two, you're told what to wear, or your clothes are made, comments on all the time, or what you're wearing, period, is sort of under somebody else's control, or feels as though it may be. Number three, your privacy is invaded. So this can be something like somebody going through your phone, your text messages, things of that sort. Number four, the person or entity in the relationship controls your finances or perhaps won't let you work. Number five, there is some sort of censorship over your life. Somebody's controlling what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're saying, to other people, and telling you how you should behave or act, perhaps in public. Number six, there is an intense monitoring of what you're doing. You'll see things like maybe somebody calls many, many times over and over again, and they say, who are you with? What's going on? These sorts of experiences. Number seven, and it can also be in a more subtle form as well, of course. Number seven, you are punished for breaking rules, and yet the rules continuously change. Number eight, somebody tells you, oh, this is for your own good, and I know what's best. And they sort of discount or diminish like your personal experience and personal relationship to a situation. Number nine, you are not allowed to question this person. And if you do, you are either shamed or you get into trouble in some form. Number 10, someone will tell you you're crazy and that nobody agrees with you, right? And you see some of the gaslighting dynamic in here. And it goes hand in hand with number 11, which is you are gaslit or somebody's making you doubt yourself continuously by bombarding you with information to counteract your opinion, even though your opinion may have value. It's constantly dismissed and made to feel like you're wrong, and so consistently enough that you may begin to even question yourself. Number 12, somebody calls you names or shames you for being things like stupid or selfish. These are big ones that we see in a lot of these sorts of dynamics. And it's really important to be aware of that. Number 13, your opinions are constantly dismissed or belittled. Number 14, if something goes wrong, like in a relationship in general, then the other person plays the victim and it's all your fault what's taking place. And number 15, you are told or encouraged, either directly or indirectly, to stop seeing friends and family. So the source again is the Workplace Mental Health Institute. And this really summarizes these characteristics of a more extreme abusive relationship. Now, we're going to talk a lot in a follow-up video here. And you see a lot of these dynamics, of course, in narcissism and things like that. But we're going to talk a lot in a follow-up video about what to do if we find ourselves in this sort of position, how to reprogram. Immediately you want to get out. But if you are somebody who's sitting here now watching this video and you're noticing, oh, this is something that I went through in a past experience, in a past relationship, and I noticed that I still have some of the wounding from that, because this stuff creates imprints along the subconscious mind, and it really makes it difficult for somebody. And often people feel confused when they're in this sort of situation, especially if there's, not the outright physical abuse component, but the emotional abuse components here. And the mental, intellectual abuse components here. So, it's really important that if we have found that in our past or history, whether it be with an entity, whether that be in a one-to-one relationship, in a workplace, if you were bullied this way in a friend group or anything like that, that we are able to do the work to heal, because these things drastically imprint our subconscious mind, and we want to have those tools and resources. So stay tuned. Again, if you want to do a deeper dive into that and get started right now before the video comes out, check out the Emotional Mastery Belief Reprogramming course. It's free for 7 days. It's super powerful. It really digs into the things that imprint upon our subconscious mind, and it will allow you to do the work and know how to actually be free from these things. So whoever planted seeds at the subconscious level for you in the past, you don't allow them to continue to have power over you in your future, because you're not carrying those things with you in your subconscious any longer. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.